The first thing we need to do is decide, is your object taller or wider from your point of view? In this case, visually, it's taller than it is wide. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my paper to match that. I want my format to fit it so I can make this as large as possible. Don't take that for granted. If I were to lay this vase down on its side, then it would visually be wider than it is tall. Now, if I've decided that it's taller than it is wide, I want to lightly mark how tall I want to make this object in my drawing. I'm not going to make it go all the way to the edge of my paper, but we have big sheets of paper and I want it big. It might grow a little bit in my drawing, so I want to give it room to do that, just in case that happens. Now I need to use visual measurement to determine how wide this object should be in my drawing. I've probably scaled it up from how large it looks to me in real life, so I can't just copy over that measurement. I want that width to be in proportion to the height to width ratio of the original object. This means if the original object is 1 foot high by 5 inches wide, and I'm drawing it 2 feet high, then it'll need to be 10 inches wide. But I need a way to do this quickly and visually. Now I draw with my right hand, so I'm going to make my measurements with my left hand. That'll help speed this process up. First, I choose a shorter measurement to measure into a larger measurement. In this case, I want the width, so I'm going to compare that to the overall height of the object. Now I'm looking at the visual height here, the distance between the lowest point of the object and the highest point of the object from where I'm viewing it. Close one eye so you can get a flat view on your subject. Now I'll take my drawing stick and hold it out in front of me. I place the right edge of my stick on the right edge of what I want to measure. Now I move my thumb to mark the left edge of my measurement. Turn your stick 90 degrees, and now you can measure the height using that width measure. So from the lowest point, I'll align my measurement that I took. Now I'm going to look at where the other end of that measurement ends, and I'm going to make a mental note of that position. Now I move my arm up, and I align the bottom of that measurement to where the top of it was before. I'm counting all the time that I do this, and I'm going to repeat it until I no longer need to measure anymore. Now I'm going to double check that measurement so I know that it's accurate. In this case, the height of my vase is visually 2 1/2 times the width of its widest area. On my paper, I'll use my stick to find a measurement that will fit 2 1/2 times into the height that I have marked. Now I turn that measurement on its side and lightly mark it in as the width. Now I've boxed in this object by its highest and lowest and widest points. This is the first part of landmarking, called boxing in. Now we need to find exactly where the outside points of the object are located, so I'm going to use visual measurements again to accurately find them. Remember to measure smaller units into larger ones, otherwise you're going to get a lot of confusing fractions. I want to find out exactly where I should place that bottom point of the vase. From where I am sitting, the left side of the vase seems visually shorter than the right side, so I'll use that measurement. I want to find out how many of those short sides will fit into the overall width. Here, my left side measurement fits into the widest measurement 4 times. In my drawing, I'll find a measurement that fits into the width 4 times. At the 1/4 mark, I have the point of the base, where it visually makes the angle change from the left side to the right. Now I'll perform the same action to find the highest angle change point. With these points accurately landmarked in, I could continue my measuring exercise. However, I now have enough information in my drawing to use a different technique to find the other points. Using my stick, I can start at my marked outside points and match the angle of edges that emerge from them. For instance, here at the bottom of the vase, I can match the left angle and, moving at the hips as much as possible, accurately bring that angle over to my drawing and mark it. My goal for this part of the landmarking process is to get the outer edges marked in as accurately as I can before moving into interior lines, angles, and points. Once I have a couple points that are accurately placed, another technique is to triangulate additional points using those. For instance, I want the top left point of the very top of my vase, but it doesn't go out to the outer edge. It kind of floats in from there. Even though there's not lines that run directly from my bottom points to that point, I can still find the angle from those 2 points, carefully bring it over to my drawing, and lightly draw those lines in. When I've drawn in the angles from the 2 points, you'll see that X marks the spot for that top left corner. I continue with my angles techniques to find points and lines in the interior of the vase until I have a clear and accurate drawing of my subject. I can use angles to other points to double check the placement of interior points even if they don't butt up against the outside edge, so I can make sure that they are positioned accurately and proportionally in my drawing. You can see how those earliest marks that I made, the height, the width, those early points, the top point, the bottom point, how ultimately these help to drive the rest of my drawing. That's why I need to check and double check these measurements, because if they're wrong, they'll propagate errors through the entire drawing. However, if they're correctly placed, then the rest of my drawing will be solid and accurate. Repeat this method with each drawing you do in this class. This technique forms the foundation of all of our other drawing techniques. If you practice this enough, you can become extremely accurate and fast with your landmarks, allowing you plenty of time to move on to other techniques such as toning, light and shade, things like that. Good luck!